Lesson 9, the check program. Now on CJ's Knits, we will investigate the check button. You can check the pattern number, stitches, rows, and pattern data for your own pattern stored in the computer. You can also change the pattern data. How to check your program. How to check your pattern numbers that you have stored in the computer. When you push the down key, the display shows the pattern numbers in order, beginning with the last one stored in the computer. Okay, so how to check the pattern numbers when you push the down key. Okay, when the ready lamp is lit, push the check key. Hang on. Now the ready lamp is lit. All right, now we're playing. Press the check key. And the last pattern stored is 901, because I keep my memory pretty clear. Push the down key. As you can see, I don't store anything other than 901, and then I delete it. Press the check key after you have checked the pattern number. Yep, there are 140 stitches. There are 300 rows to my pattern. I wonder which one that is. Oh, I think it's a dog. That's cool. I don't even remember. Oh, neat. And then turn off the check key. Alrighty. That is pretty cool. When the ready lamp is lit, push the check key. The ready lamp goes off. Push the step key. And we looked at these stitches and rows that I had on pattern number 901. For method number 2, please refer now to page 65. How to check the pattern data using the data lamp. To check the first row, push the step key. Well, we kind of saw that. Because when we did the check here, right, we saw the stitches in the rows. And when I press the step key again, those ones lit up pretty good. That's neat. And I bet if I went... Neat. Okay. That's cool. We are not modifying my pattern, just so we're clear. For method number 2, blah, blah, blah. When we find a mistake in the middle of a pattern, using the right or left key, move. So this is where we use those arrows right there. Move along the row so that the number is in the display. You can change the stitch program for the number with the black or white key. For example, change the pattern data for the third stitch. Push the right key to advance to the number in the display to the third stitch. Enter the pattern data for the third stitch. Even if you push the data key, the number on the display is not changed using the up and down arrows. The left and right keys move around the pattern. Neat. The indication in the display is changed when you push the up and down arrows or left and right keys. Pattern data for the number indicated in the display can be changed with the black or white key. Oh, cool. How to check the pattern data using the buzzer. Push the buzzer key and the buzzer will make a sound according to the pattern data for the row, from the number in the display to the end of the row. Sound of the buzzer, 2 short notes, a white one, a long note. That's neat. Work steps 1 to 3 on page 63, how to check the first row. Okay, I think you guys can figure this part out for yourselves. And then it has the, on this page, it has you enter the Buffalo Check program. Special program, how to begin knitting midway through a pattern. You don't always have to start your pattern on row 1. Advance the number in the display to the row where you want to begin by pushing the up and down keys. This is important if you need to start in a different spot. And how to program that in. So on 1, pattern 1, position 7, program the pattern as shown, and then up and down arrow keys. Continue pattern knitting the normal way. When working lace or fine lace, take care over the following points. You have to be very careful about where the K carriage is used as opposed to the transfer carriage. This goes for the double length and KCR. If you're going to program your own pattern, be cognizant of your pattern, and this is why you use pattern sheets. How to knit several rows of stocking stitch between pattern knitting. Use the start key. Start key? What's the start key? Oh, okay, cool. There's the start key. Use the start key. So, program the pattern as follows and knit the first pattern. Now set the change knob to NL. Take the contrast yarn out of the yarn feeder and knit 9 rows of stocking stitch and place the K carriage outside the turn mark. The last or 10th row is the needle selection row for the first row in the next pattern. Check the information shown in the data display. Push the start key and make sure the K carriage is outside the turn mark. Now set the change knob to KC1 and knit 1 row. The needles are selected for the first row of the next pattern. Push the MC button and thread the contrast yarn into feeder B. Now knit the second pattern. Okay, so this is like if you're doing those fancy sweaters, which we are actually going to be doing when we do our Halloween sweater this year. So we will probably just program that color swap in, just so you're clear. Make sure the K carriage is outside the turn mark, blah, 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 blah. Now begin the knitting from row 1, and the display indicates another row number. Needle selection for the first row will be done by pushing the start key. The third row is indicated in the display. Push the start key. So the function of the start key. When you push the start key, even if the display indicates any other row number in the pattern, it will change row 1. The needle selection will also be according to the first row of your pattern. How to get back to row 1. When you want to begin the new piece of knitting but haven't changed the pattern number, for example, if you are making the parts of a garment, the display will show the number for the row you are going to knit in pattern. To get back to the first row of your pattern, push the start key, and the number in the display will revert to 1. So, like the times where I push KCR, oh, hang on, auto check. Okay, so if it's here and I push KCR, that's fine, right? But if it's in row 4 and I want to go back to 1, you're just supposed to press the start key. So yet again, we have learned something new. So the start key will revert you back to 1 unless you have changed it. Cool. When you want to begin a new piece of knitting but haven't changed the pattern number. You're making... You must always select the needles first before you start pattern knitting. When the number in the display is flashing on and off, it means the needle selection has been done. Return the display to number 1 by pushing the start key. The flashing will cease and the needles will be selected according to the first row of your pattern. How to change the variation key whilst you are knitting in pattern. The variation keys can be changed whenever you wish, even if they are in the middle of a pattern. Cool. I think we kind of did that, like this part, in the last video. Well, the last one. So in 6+ or in lesson 6. So that's all cool. And now it goes into a floppy disk. I don't know very many people who have a floppy disk, and I don't. I have a floppy disk drive, but I don't have any floppy disks from which we can grab a pattern. And I am not going to go back and forth with my patterns because I use a different system. How to delete pattern data. Yeah, no. Okay, so this brings us to yet another lesson where we are actually going to start Fair Isle knitting. So come back to the next video and we'll start Fair Isle. Up next, Fair Isle knitting.